Hello, my name is Elizabeth and this is LA Stitches Flosstube number 15 and it is March 2nd, 2026. This will most certainly be a shorter video because I didn't do as much stitching this week and I don't have as many projects to show you as I normally do because I abandoned my stitching routine entirely. So without further ado, I did 3,490 stitches this week, which is still a really good amount and I'm very happy with it. But I had been doing over 8,000 stitches a week the last couple weeks, so it feels a little odd to have a smaller number. It feels much more odd to have the whips that I'm going to show you, but it is what it is. To start with, I finished Ski Pass from Mill Hill, which is something I've never shown you that I was even working on. This needed 1,324 stitches this week to bring it to a finish. I normally have a Mill Hill kicking around on my desk and I never show it, not even when it's finished. I don't count the stitching on it as part of my weekly totals. It gets folded into my monthly, of course, but as far as my weeks go, these are just for me. And I work on them sporadically. And like I said, I don't even show them when I finish them half the time, most of the time. So I finished Ski Pass from Mill Hill and I'm showing you in the name of finishing things in the final week of February, but otherwise normally you'd never see this. Which feels very odd to admit that I don't show all my stitching, but I do like keeping some stitching for myself as far as reduced expectations. I don't have a timeline I'm planning on working on things. It's much more the vibe-based part of my stitching instead of the usual structure and routine that I normally have. I don't have this week. We'll get into it in life. But the next piece I have to show you is one you've seen before. This is Seasons of the Heart Winter from the Blue Flower. And I'm stitching this 1/1 on 18 count tea-dyed Aida. And I did 1,029 stitches this week to bring it to a finish. And with that, I have finished all my Seasons of the Heart from the Blue Flower, finally. I started the first one in April of 2024. So it feels really nice to finally be done with this series. You can only stitch the same like gray heart so many times before you get real tired of working on them. The final piece I have to show you is Christmas mugs from Colorfully Sarah Shop, which I'm stitching 2/1 on 18 count Aida. And I did 1,139 stitches this week, bringing me to a total of 3,833 stitches, or 86.29% complete. I had been hoping to finish this and one other project this week, but I didn't, and that's okay. I'm still very happy with how much closer this is to a finish. The white on this mug is so frustrating to work on. White on white is just hard, especially when it's a very dense coverage too. I feel like my stitching looks awful. But that's all my whips and finishes for this past week. So we'll do some numbers and then plans and then life. For February, I did 25,968 stitches total, which is crazy. Once again, a crazy stitching month. I think I've said that every month that I've been filming these videos. But just I'm stunned by that number. And as a result of also filming weekly floss tubes and counting most of my stitching for the most part, I have a graph to show you for the first 2-ish months of this year. So here you can see how my stitch counts vary week to week and how much different categories get worked on. So I guess the only like real special exception for how this normally works is that this week I counted my winter heart or seasons of the heart winter as my morning stitching because that had been morning stitching in the month of February. And then I counted Christmas mugs and ski pass as other. But otherwise, normally in a normal video, this matches my categories that I normally work on. But I thought it'd be fun to share. Graphs are fun. Obviously, I'm a big fan of them if I make them for my hobbies. As far as plans for this coming week, I don't know what plans I have. I have lots of ideas. The one I really want to mention, because I will probably do something, I'm just not sure what, is that the Paralympics start this Friday. And please go check them out. The Paralympics are full of these wonderful athletes who are so skilled and accomplish so many things, and it's so impressive, just like the Olympics. And I don't understand why they don't get the same amount of coverage. So go check out the Paralympics. They start this week. I had initially thought that I would do the same thing for the Paralympics that I did for the Olympics, where I translate medal counts into stitching on my morning stitching. However, I don't know if I'll be doing morning stitching anymore. And I don't know if I'm going to have to change my graph categories as a result of some stuff that's been going on in life. So if you're only here for cross stitch, that's it. Short little video. And I'll see you next Monday, because I will be here next Monday. I just don't know what I'll show you. And with that, we can get into life. And before I touch on what exactly has been going on in the larger picture, I finished Kay's Christmas socks. The ends aren't woven in. I still have my stitch markers, but they're done. Finally. I still haven't cast on mine, but I'm almost done with last year's Christmas socks. And that means I got technically 3 finishes in the final week of February, which feels good. Feels good. Would have loved to get more done, but life. So the big thing that I'll start with is that Kay's got a new job. He's at work right now, which I think I mentioned it probably the most when I was filming Vlogmas. And I touch on it randomly probably. But for the most part, Kay has worked 12-hour night shift with a very unstable schedule with his most recent employer, who it was very frustrating for me. So I'm going to have like my little mini rant moment of he was hired to work 12-hour night shift. He would be scheduled randomly for swing shift and day shift. And sometimes he would go to bed without a shift and wake up 4 hours later to frantic phone calls that he was actually working that day because the schedule had changed without informing him even. And now he was late for work, which so frustrating to deal with. And he's got a new job now. And there's guaranteed days off because they don't operate every single day of the week. And they don't operate at night. So he is now day shift. And his shift length is now 10 hours instead of 12. So it's a lot of change that we are still feeling out. The entire time I've dated him, he's worked these, for the most part, 12-hour night shift. Because he's been with his previous employer the entire time we've been dating. He started working there the same week we started dating and got coffee and all that jazz for the first time. The first week I met him, he started working there, basically. So I've only known him with this very unstable schedule of mostly night shift, but just kind of chaos. And so it's a lot of, I don't know what life looks like with him working days. I don't know what life looks like with him working 10 hours instead of 12. This is very odd to me. And it's even stranger for him. Since he got out of the military 8 years ago, he's worked night shift only, excluding weird scheduling things. And for the most part, 12 hours. So he's also finding his footing in this very odd world we now find ourselves in of normal people schedules, I guess. So I don't know what that means for my stitching, because I don't have somebody sleeping while I'm filming and awake, because I'm a day person. I'm a morning person. I film in the mornings. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Like I said, we're figuring it out and feeling it out. And it, like, long term, I think it'll be good for me, because I get to do more things during the day without having to worry about volume. And for him, I think it'll be good because he seems to naturally want to default to a day schedule as far as when he gets up and falls asleep. And the shorter days give him more time to do the things he loves to do, which is just nice. But yeah, it's very odd. I feel very strange about it, and I'm not sure what it means for my morning stitching, because usually that's I'm waking up and he's winding down, and so stitching with him worked. And now I don't know. I just don't. We also got a lot of new furniture this week, old furniture, hand-me-down furniture. And so everything's been moving around in the house, and I said, we have more furniture, and yet somehow I want to get rid of more things. I don't know how that works. I'm sitting in his new chair, by the way. I still have my old chair that squeaks, but I figured I'd film in the nice new chair. Other than that, spring's here. It's going to be over 80 today, which is absurd. It's over 20 degrees above average. My allergies are a mess. I'm a mess. I'm filming this in the morning when all my allergy medicine is fresh. But we'll just see it. My favorite metaphor for migraines generally is you have these things that kind of lower the threshold. Seasonal allergies, put mine in the ground. I have migraines most days when pollen's high, so I'm not looking forward to this coming week from that perspective. But I mean, he's working during the day, so I can also clean during the day, which is nice. I don't know. It's very odd. I've done so many takes of this video because I just feel so strange. The last thing I have in my notes is that I didn't finish Pride and Prejudice in the month of February, which had been my goal. I started it and was planning on finishing it. I got a little bit over halfway, and then between my allergies starting to ramp up and all of this strange new schedule, I just stopped. So we'll see. Hopefully I finish it in March, but I don't know. Maybe we watch more TV together because it just didn't work with our previous sleep schedules. Watching TV didn't work. We have lots of TV shows we like, but we just don't watch TV together. I don't know. I don't know what life looks like. Hopefully by next Monday I have a better idea and have a schedule starting to form, because the uncertainty does make me feel very odd. I don't like it. So yeah, I'll see you next Monday. I hope you have a really good stitching week. I hope you have a really good week generally.